Something in the way you look at me makes me want you near. Even when we sit in silence, feels so loud and clear. Something in the way you look at me makes me want you near.
Welcome back to the channel all, and thank you anyone who is new here. Today I'm back on Rage again. Some of you may well know that things have slowed down somewhat because I'd had an operation on my foot. I'm recovering, I'm still limping around, I still can't get my work boots on, but as far as I'm concerned and in my world, I'm ready to continue. So I have been given a to-do list on Rage. The problem is it's actually from a mechanic and mechanics don't mess about, do they, like me? So here's my to-do list. And to most mechanics this will be really simple, probably about a day's work, if that. To me it'll be weeks. So the first thing I did, instead of just cracking on immediately, was I created a nicely typed to-do list with tick boxes because that's just who I am. So nice 3-page to-do list here just for Rage. There are some little bits which aren't on there because I have got tiny bits, well, I say tiny, some of them aren't, on the board, where as I was working along on Rage, I'd make sure that if something hadn't got the right clip on it, or if an earth hasn't been secured or anything else, it's gone on that board. There is also in the far corner, which you can't probably see from there, but there is also a little clip which has come out of the electrical switch from the alternator, and it's just like a little thing that secures the clip properly, and I've left it out, so it's on the board with the letters FFS by the side of it. So when I get back down to that area again, I'll start that and put that back in. So today we're going to have a quick look at some of the jobs that are on the to-do list and go round Rage with that. Then hopefully attempt to start those jobs. I'm on limited time today. I've only got a couple of hours in the workshop today. What I'm also hoping to do is to get Rage pretty much finished and out of the way, get him weatherproof, get the glass in, get him up to my house so that my beautiful Muriel, who is behind the camera, can actually start having some work done. I'm really missing not being able to, I can go to the classic car shows, but I just feel like I want to be in something authentic rather than, you know, pulling up in my truck or my car. So I'm desperate to get onto Muriel as well, but I am very much trying to make sure I just crack on with one thing at a time. So let's have a little look round Rage now. Let's have a look at the to-do list, and then I'm going to pick something which I can try and achieve today. So the first task on my to-do list is windows. No windscreen, no side windows. The back has got a Perspex panel in, and so have the sides. And also the door that was originally on Rage, the centre, quite a lot of it had been cut out, so I need to replace that. Then further down on the list is obviously the door locks, the windows fitted into the doors and all of the handles. Steering column needs to be made secure. So this steering column is off the MX-5, and the garage very kindly sort of collapsed the column. I didn't realise that you could actually collapse them because originally the wheel was right out, sitting right out sort of here where you sat. So that's all been collapsed, but now, because obviously it's out of an MX-5 and it's got to go into a Morris Minor, there's got to be some adjustments here to hold the column and secure it in place. So that is probably something that I'll need a lot of guidance on. I can't really sort of handle things like that at the moment. Then let's have another look. What have we got after that? So then the dashboard has got to be fitted into the dash. You know, to some it might look relatively simple. However, this MX-5 dash, this front is sort of is not flat. It's quite chunky, so to fit it in the back of here is quite difficult. I have seen a couple of other comments on the internet where people have taken this front end off and created a flat plate and been able to put that binnacle in that space absolutely beautifully. I don't want it to look odd. Originally, I would have loved to have used this space here and used the actual Morris Minor dash instruments, but it's just not possible because it, you know, the speedo on this is mechanical. There would have been lots of problems for me, so that was a no-no. So I think just getting that in there alone is going to take me quite a while. So then after that, you know, I've got silly things like the wiper blades, motor and washer. Again, I think I'm going to have to fit the Morris Minor system in here. And then obviously I've got one hole for the arms, but as you can see, the other one isn't there. So I've got to recreate that. Then what have we got? Let's have a look. Okay, so then I've got the brake calipers, front and rear. So there's no calipers on the front at the moment. Some of you will know that I've had issues with the, hello Peanut, I've had issues with the ride height on this car, and the front end's been taken apart a lot. So the calipers are here, they just need refurbing. The rear ones are still on. Sorry, you can't see those either. They are still on. They look like they're in a bit of a state, so need to sort that. Towards the rear of the car, so the fuel tank filler neck at the moment, that's just designed just to sit exactly where it is, so when the boot lid's on, it's covered. I don't particularly want to be going to a fuel station and having to constantly keep opening my boot, so try and look at that. Boot hinges, they just need sorting out, and obviously the latch on the boot needs sorting out as well. I have got the boot, so that's great. Then something that you can't see, but obviously the exhaust system, I've got to decide what I want on this car and what my daughter wants, because she has specifically ordered flames coming out of the exhaust. So at the moment the manifold's on there, it is wrapped. That was a job that I absolutely hated doing. All of this dust is from where I had to trim the front wings recently. ABS pump is just sat here at the moment. That needs a bracket. Again, although the bulkhead is MX-5 on this car, everything else in the front is Morris Minor, so to try and find the space for some of these things is pretty awkward, especially for somebody like me who, I don't have an engineer in mind. I don't look at something and think, oh yeah, I can create a bracket for that, no problem. So I've got brake pipes, brake fluid pipes, the front hubs, the backing shields have gone on those, so I need to somehow try and get those off because they are really quite bad. Need to secure all of the engine loom that's in the wiring bay. Most of it now is laid in place where it should be, but I just need to do those last minute tweaks and figure out if there's anything that I can lose, etc. Still got switches and stuff that are still unplugged, and I'm still trying to find out where they go. However, the engine does start, so that's great. Clutch pipes and cylinders. I've got all the new bits for the I've got a new master cylinder or slave cylinder, I can't remember. Yeah, master cylinder. Power steering pipes. Now I had a problem with the rack leaking recently. I don't know whether I can get you into this, but yeah, the rack has started leaking, and it is the don't think you can see it really, but it is the original rack from the MX-5. and some of the pipes have sort of deteriorated, so they need replacing, or I may have to get a new rack. That's something I've got to research on. Front grille. Need to decide what we're having on the front grille. Some of you that have followed me for quite a while will remember that this car had a very aggressive American looking grille on, which I wasn't particularly happy with. Air intake system and the filter. So at the moment it's standard, but Rage did have, let me just show you, had this air filter on. So I just need to make a decision as to what's happening there. What else have we got? Oh, we've got so much, I'm so sorry, we're backwards and forwards. So the dashboard wiring has got to be tidied. Yeah. Not something that I am looking forward to, but you know, a couple of hours and I'm sure it will be there. But there's an awful lot to get into place and secure, and obviously all the items that I'm going to need, like hazard switches, you know, things like that. That's all got to be put in place. So again, that's quite a lot of work. You know, it's just an item on a list, but it's quite a lot of work. Right, rocker cover is still missing. It's on my table. Look, to do with its new gasket, but basically I just want to get this polished up now. I think you might have heard that I had broken something off in here. It's only one of these brackets, so nothing horrendous, but then when I tried to get that bit out, I caused a hole right the way through, only a very tiny one. So I've used that, it's like a liquid metal, and that's set really hard now, so I just need to clean all that up, try and polish this up, get the new gasket in, get that back on the car. Headlamps and indicators. So this car, I think, was originally built to just literally go on the drift tracks. So I am going to put the original round lights back in, but I'm looking at the modern ones that sort of incorporate the indicator and everything else. Just got to make sure that all the wiring is okay for that. So that's what I plan to do there. I'm going to do the same on the rear, but I'm looking for a set of almost like lights that are like tub lights, and they incorporate everything as well, so that, you know, I'm not messing about drilling bodywork and whatever else. I really don't want to do that. Still work to do on the clearance on these rear arches, but a lot of you have just mentioned reworking the rear wheel arches. Thank you for those that have said about sort of rolling them. However, these are fiberglass, so that's not an option for me. The front ones, that was on the list. I've done the work now. We've got the clearance, which is great. I've just got to tidy up where I've slipped with a Dremel, make them look a little bit more, I don't know what you call this edge, but make this edge smooth rather than just like a crisp edge. So I need to get that done. Back into the interior of the car. So there is quite a lot to do in here, and because this is a non-standard engine in here, it's got the 1.8 MX5 in it. I think it is probably a good idea to have seat belts. So need to look at securing points, make sure everything's suitable. It needs the roof sorting and headline sorting. It needs a firewall into the back, because obviously the fuel tank is straight under that piece of cardboard there, so that needs doing. It needs the centre console back in, the carpets and the passenger seat, and just make it look all nice. Again, back into this sort of engine bay area, so it's silly things like the horns need fitting. There's lots of brackets that are required to fit the coolant. The power steering reservoir needs something to hold it. There's quite a few bits in here. It's quite a bitty sort of area, a lot to do. And I've just got to work through that slowly but surely. Just having a look what else we've got here. So then back on the back, we just need to look at the number plate mount and the fitting. Steering wheel, I've got to make the decision whether I want to run airbags or not. It's quite complicated for me, but you know, still need to make that decision, so I'll have a good old think about that. And then I think we're getting to pretty much near the end. The ECU and the impact sensor, they need mounting properly. Silly things, rearview mirror, door mirrors. The fan's got to go in actually on the radiator as well. I'd forgotten that. That needs to go in. And then obviously the bonnet and the boot, they all need sorting. It's just the latches really and the hinges. So these are Morris Minor hinges, but they've normally got like some threaded bar fixed in here, so I need to look at that. And also, for those of you that don't know, a lot of people think that these are chrome or chrome plated. They're actually a material called Mazak, and what we have found out with Mazak is if you heat it up, it melts very, very quickly. Don't do that. So yeah, I have found out that I can clean these down, so I can sand them down, and then I will, unfortunately I'll just paint them. But because this is Rage, those kinds of things are not as important as, say, Muriel, whose hinges are extremely pitted, as you can imagine. So yeah, silly things like that. And these have gaskets that go on here for attachment to the bonnet as well. Then the biggest thing is the vehicle's got to be painted. We do think that this vehicle is going to stay. The black on it was just literally to change its ID. The car was all over the internet. It was originally that sort of blue colour. Also just putting this sort of base coat on, did make the car look a lot better and a lot tidier. But it is we think we're going to keep it matte black. And we may do something a little bit special with some of the paintwork, but not 100% sure yet. Okay, so here's Rage dropped down on the floor. And I know some of you that really know what you're doing will probably be getting really frustrated with me by now, but sort of the top of the wheel there needs it looks like it needs pushing inwards, and the bottom needs to sort of come out. I'm going to leave it for today because I've spent so much time doing this now. The other side looks absolutely great. So yeah, hopefully if you guys can help me put something in the comments, and I'll seek some advice in the week as well. The only reason why I want to get this in line is because pushing the car in and out, Rage has got extremely heavy now. It's got an engine and box in, and my winch isn't yet fixed to the floor in this new workshop, so I can't handle the car on my own, which is becoming a little bit of a pain now. So if I can make things as easy as possible, then great. But yeah, any answers on what I now need to do to have this wheel looking like it's pushed a bit more inwards at the top and outwards at the bottom would be great. Okay, so so that's it for today. I've achieved nothing. And I hate these days. I hate these days when I walk away and feel like I haven't been able to tick something off my list. But I guess that's the way it goes. I know, when you watch people like, RE Performance, or not so much Matt Armstrong because everything seems to go okay for him. But sometimes when I watch people like RE Performance that took in an old Audi as a refurb, it took him something like 4 hours to undo a couple of bolts. So you kind of then begin to think, actually, it's not just me that suffers. Have learnt a lot today though, about sort of towing in and out, and realised, you know, kind of how it all works. So yeah, Rage is being left for the day, and I'll try and come and do a bit more work in the weekdays after work. Like I said, I've got my rocker cover in the car, so I'll try and do some of that this afternoon outside at home. But apart from that, I'm going to leave you all. I haven't ticked a thing off my list. And any advice and comments, greatly appreciated. Thank you all for your support as usual. I'm on Facebook. There's a few photos that go on Instagram, and I do a few of those ticky-tocky videos occasionally. So yeah, thank you all so much, and hopefully I'll have better results in the next video.